I'm going to ask Max a few questions about himself, about his life, about how he came to be here. But how well do we really know Max? First of all, Max, who the hell are you?
In my early years, I had two names. My family name and Max. I also had a gay name, so that no one would know who I was. Who is Max? I'm an ordained minister of religion, a university graduate, a welfare and drama theatre, a craft creative coordinator. Now I'm a living carer, but I still do all those other things. That's Max.
Max has asked me to read from Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, the first 8 verses. There is an opportune time to do things, a right time for everything on the earth, a right time for birth and another for death, a right time to plant and another to reap, a right time to kill and another to heal, a right time to destroy and another to construct, a right time to cry and another to laugh, a right time to lament and another to cheer, a right time to make love and another to abstain, a right time to embrace and another to part, a right time to search and another to count your losses, a right time to hold on and another to let go, a right time to rip out and another to mend, a right time to shut up and another to speak up, a right time to love and another to hate, a right time to wage war and another to make peace. Now, Max, when did you begin to understand your spiritual journey, and what part did discovering who you really were play in that?
When I became a senior member of the Salvation Army, it's what they call becoming a soldier in the Salvation Army. I was 14 years old. Someone asked, what will I be when I grow up? Without even thinking, I said I was going to be a Salvation Army officer. I knew that. I knew I was going to be a minister. Why, I don't know. Whether it was because the role models I had with my parents were the ones that I couldn't think of any job better than to be a minister. And that's what I was going to be. My whole existence, right up until I went to college, was preparing to be a minister. After 8 years as a Salvation Army officer, including training and ordination, I realised I was not going to be acceptable within the organisation as I recognised my sexuality and began dealing with mixed messages. Yes, the Salvos had troubles with a gay person. They still do, but they're working on it. Officially, I came out to myself following my resignation. Now, when you think, I was going to be an officer, and then suddenly, the carpet's gone. I'm not going to be a Salvation Army officer anymore. But that didn't stop me still being a minister. For I thought I was still a minister, I was still ordained. God didn't take that away from me. It just meant I had to refocus. I just didn't know how or where I was going to use this aspect of myself, or if I could. As I said earlier, I had two names that I was living with. The family name, the family me, Max, and the gay me that I gave myself. I was called Stephen. You know how when we have those little encounters as a gay person, somebody asks you, what's your name? I'm not going to give them my real name, somebody might tell them. So I made up a name. I made up a whole character. And that was Stephen. Until I was in the mid-30s, I lived two people. I was the lovely church person, Max, and I was the good gay person, Stephen. Stephen partied more than Max did. Max didn't know how to dance. Stephen could do a good boogie. but to try and bring those two people together. Well, the gay me started taking over when I resigned my minister. Resigned being a minister of the Salvation Army. The gay me went on a party spree in Sydney. I said it was the height of the HIV epidemic back in 1986, 87, 1988. People were afraid to go and get tested because your name could be printed in the Sydney Morning Herald if you went to the clinic to have your name tested, and if you were positive. Now, a miracle happened with that because I was able to escape the Sydney rat race. But before then, that Bible verse we had tonight, it said, how can anything that promotes God's love be against God? So the Christian Max was still promoting God. The sexual Stephen, he was partying. And there was a fight going on. There was a major war going on between the two of us. Stephen wanted to kill Max. Stephen wanted to get rid of this person who was still holding the flag, holding that ministry. I got kicked out of my own place because my flatmate got jealous of my boyfriend I had at the time, who was his uncle. Sydney was an interesting place to live. Stephen was having a party. Max was dying. But Max had a phone call from his family, come home. So I came home. I left Sydney at the height of the epidemic in 88 and began my walk back to God anew. During this new time, I was able to deal with the two Maxes and find peace in being a gay Max as well as being a Christian. I also know that my homosexuality is not a sin in God's eyes. God made me a sexual being. Maybe too much of a sexual being for some, but I'm a sexual being. God doesn't say no. And in the Bible it does say we can choose whatever we want. We can have whatever we want. But not everything we want is good for us. So there are times when I have to say, all right, I better watch out and just tone it down a little. Sometimes it's hard for me to tone anything down. But there are days, weeks, months, when life throws us a curveball. And sometimes I try and work it out in my own strength. And it just does not work. I've tried many times. And things I do just don't seem to go right. And then I blame God for it. Now, why am I blaming God for me trying to do my own thing? He wants me. He gives me that choice to do things. So why don't I give it back to him? If I have a problem, I give it back to him. And a friend of mine used to say, well, lay down the fleece and see what's going to happen. If you have something to do, lay the fleece out and God will let you know what's going to happen. Sometimes I say throw it in the air and what comes down you keep. But it's your way of interpreting how God's going to help you, how you're going to let God do the work within you. Now, I put a note in here because life is not great. And I can still sometimes have that real argument with God that why did I waste all those years becoming a salvo when I could have been doing so many other things? But God's not my debtor. God gave me all those experiences that I can use now, that I can take with me in this life if I accept those things as being part of my life. Through that Bible reading, there is a time for everything. And all those things I need to look at and understand that I need to go through all that. Because that's my reserve. That's what I can dwell on. That's what I can draw from when I have experiences that I don't understand. There are days my spirituality helps, and I throw the problems up to God and rest on his directions.
What we've shared here tonight is something that I think we would like to do more often with some other members of our church, as we can get to know them, their life's journey, their spiritual journey, and how our lives and our spiritual journeys fit together.